Hello everybody, welcome back to another reaction video. Today I'm going to be reacting to Red vs Blue, Season 15, Episode 10, Battlescars. So in the last episode we kind of got the indication that we were going to be returning to the freelancers, and given this is Episode 10, I can only assume we're going to get some freelancer stuff. I don't know whether we're going to get any kind of like fight. Typically they turn it up to 11 in episode 10, and but I never know. We don't really know, so I doubt we will. That being said, judging by the description here, it says Carolina and Washington have successfully followed the trail of missing freelancers to the beach house of former associate agent Illinois. While digging through their past, having human revelations, they've managed to reopen old wounds. So that sounds like what I said last episode in terms of old wounds. I wonder if it's going to be something to do with York, maybe. Although we've not even heard of Agent Illinois. Illinois. I don't know. Is yes silent? I don't know. But yeah, we've not really. That's not even been somebody even mentioned in name. So it's just somebody completely new that they're just throwing into the mix. Yeah, that has me pretty interested to see what's going to happen. You probably can see that I've removed my glasses just because I'm always trying to improve the setup for these reaction videos, make them a lot more enjoyable to watch through. And whenever I go back and watch, or am editing some of the other ones that I'm doing, the fact that there's like that glare on my glasses really pisses me off so much. It's like so distracting, and also you can't see my eyes, and it's like, as weird as that is, that's kind of obscuring part of your face for a reaction video seems kind of counterintuitive, redundant, one of the two. Shouldn't have mixed them. So yeah, so I've just removed them. I can still pretty much see, but hopefully it makes it a little bit more watchable, if you know what I mean. Also, I do think I've got an eyelash here though, which is kind of annoying. Anyway, yeah, I think we should just get straight into this. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, this animation.
Hello, Carolina.
Sorry, must have spaced out. Any luck?
No sign of Agent Illinois. This is definitely his place, though.
How can you tell?
Oh, has he got the fishy helmet?
Sure does.
You two look cozy.
Pretty sure I hit him for doing that.
Seems our friend left in a hurry.
Oh.
The only thing missing from the place is his armor.
But where did he go?
No note. Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, that camera work
on
was
finding
weird.
him here, though.
What do you remember about Agent Illinois?
Demolitions expert. He wasn't top tier, but he was a crack shot with a rifle.
I mean out of armor.
Oh, I never knew him.
Illinois was always different. He wasn't ambitious or competitive like the rest of us. He didn't fight for an AI or screw over his friends to get placed higher in the rankings. Instead, he was doing a job and dreaming of the life after. Of an island chain that stretched around an entire planet. A shack by the water, with a bar full of spiced rum and a tiny red sailboat. He did it.
I didn't realize you two were close.
We weren't. He and York were drinking buddies, though. I heard all about it hanging out with him.
York, huh? This must reopen some old wounds. I'm sorry.
Sometimes I think York was my chance at a fresh start.
Ripperoni.
I threw it down an elevator shaft.
You're being too hard on yourself. You've changed over the years. I've seen it myself.
I've grown from being a dishonorable killing machine to an honorable killing machine. That's quite the journey.
Well, it's never too late to start over again.
Do you really believe that, David?
Well, I don't know if rock singer is really in your future, but yeah.
It was fun to watch them squirm, though, wasn't it?
I changed my mind. You are evil.
This is
Oh, is that the
all
lighter?
I have
Oh.
left from York.
Wait,
From
did she have?
Freelancer.
When did she get the lighter?
Just this and my armor.
You don't have to do that.
The animation's really fucked though.
What about starting over?
I mean, You don't have to destroy the past to have a future.
Gay. Please don't do some weird romance shit with these two.
Take off your suit.
What?
Oh,
I got an idea. Take it off.
Okay, that's a
this
little
is fucking weird.
forward.
No, not like that. The recovery beacons, that's the key.
Excuse me?
Every suit that belonged to Project Freelancer was special. They all had recovery beacons in them so agents could be located if they were ever in distress. Personally, I didn't like the idea of walking around with an active tracking device.
So you turned ours off, I remember.
Well, maybe that's why we're still around. Whoever's been tracking down freelancers has a way of following the beacons.
So
good
we
idea.
turn ours back on and lure the hunters here?
Unless you have a better idea.
Can't say I do.
So?
Are you going to turn around?
Ah, yes. Sorry.
Oh no, I don't like it. It's so fucking weird. Well, shit's going down though, so.
Oh man, you are not going to believe this.
Mercenaries?
Nope.
Space pirates?
Dumber.
Don't tell me. The reds and blues?
It's twice as bad as that. Let me guess, Sarge built robot versions of everyone.
Guess again.
I'd really rather not.
Fine. Wash, Carolina, meet Temple, Surge, Loco, Robo, Spaghettio, Bucket, Bucky, whatever.
Bucket.
And Donut 2.0.
Washington, Carolina,
Those point out.
it's an honor to meet you both.
What the heck?
Can you explain why there's two of everyone?
They're from another gulch. That's why they look like us. Look, the whole story is long and complicated, and we need to get out of here ASAP. You really fucked up activating your beacon. That's how they're tracking us down.
We were counting on it. We're luring them here.
Well, lucky for you, we can do the same thing.
Yeah, lucky.
From our perspective, we set a trap, and you all fell in it.
Well, your trap wouldn't have worked anyway. The UNSC has a nasty habit of nuking from orbit first, asking questions later.
The UNSC?
Oh, big surprise. You guys haven't figured out what's going on yet. Score another for Team Tucker.
You have? And Church?
He's alive.
If you come with us, we'll explain everything.
That's quite a story.
Temple only left out the
I like
part
this
where Sarge
lineup.
fell in love with himself, and Simmons realized he can't stand his own reflection.
What about the reporter? Did she leave?
No, she's around here somewhere.
We've been keeping her on a don't-need-to-know basis. Can't trust the press these days.
Why not? She seemed perfectly trustworthy to me.
Well, we don't, know what her agenda and stuff is.
But, Tucker, she can get the real story out. If she publicizes this insane plot by the UNSC to kill the ex-agents of...
And sim troopers. We're people too.
If she can get the story out, it's game over.
There's no easy way out.
They've
of
already
this.
killed her. Dun
This
dun dun.
ends with us taking the fight to those that would see us all dead. This ends in violence.
What if it didn't have to?
They killed your friends.
They have Church.
And they need to be brought to justice, but what if for once it was in a courtroom or a court-martial and not at the end of somebody's knife?
Are you feeling all right?
Our adversaries are too powerful. If we come at them now with just accusations, they're gonna turtle up and ride it out. They're looking for us. They're poking their head out of their shell, and I aim to chop it the fuck off.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Strategizing can wait until breakfast at least.
And breakfast is...
Fish.
Come
So
on.
sorry.
Man, I'm gonna puke if I eat one more fucking fish.
Hey, it's not like there's any cows or chickens swimming around our underwater base. Anyway,
Do you almost call it a
how about I
lair?
give our
Yeah, he's
guests
not
a
really
free
helping
random
himself,
tour?
is he? No, that's
Just
cool.
through here. Sorry about the mess.
You wanted to show us what?
We've just gathered some relics from Project
Oh
Freelancer.
Christ, what's this?
I thought you both would appreciate the collection.
Gonna trap him or something. Oh, they're the
let me
agents.
get the lights.
Oh.
Recognize anyone?
Oh man, that's Agent Arizona's armor, isn't it?
In Maryland, there's Alaska.
Oh, I think you need to check your plumbing. That smell.
That's not sewage. I don't think these are just suits of armor.
What? That's...
You.
Guilty.
I mean,
What did you do to them?
I killed them. I murdered them. I set my vengeance free upon them, and it felt so good. But not half as good as this feels.
Well, if it's a fight you want,
Then I think we can oblige.
Yo, I could never best you in a fight. And anyway, don't they say that revenge is a dish best served frozen? My greatest fear
What the
is that
fuck is
you
going
know
on?
me, Carolina. That you'd recognize my voice and the game would be up.
Carolina, I can't.
I can't move either. I'm locked.
The armor lock technology was salvaged from Project Freelancer. Fate is not without irony. And the past is not without its just dessert.
That yarn about the UNSC? They're not really killing freelancers.
Of course not. I am.
Why?
Because of what you did to us. For what she did most of all. The record for staying alive in this room, locked in your armor, is 8 days and 11 hours. I know you've always been the most competitive of the freelancers, Agent Carolina, so do try to do better for me.
The Reds and Blues will come looking.
The Reds and Blues will be dead before they even miss you. So long, Agent Washington. No! So long, Carolina.
What the fuck was that? Okay, I officially have absolutely no idea what is going on, and I can't tell whether I like it or I don't like it. I don't know, honestly. That was fucking weird. We're gonna do a quick pause and I shall return. Alright, and we're back. So, wow. I'm not quite sure what I was expecting, but I don't think it was that necessarily. And I don't just mean in terms of the twist, I think I mean in terms of the episode. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure whether I like it or not. There are parts of it where it's like, yes, that's fucking cool, that's good. It looks good, feels good. And then there are other parts where I'm like, what? I mean, you can see it in the reaction, the parts where I'm a little bit thrown off. And when I kind of get like that, I don't know. I mean, I want it. This is the point, and this is for me to express my thoughts to the episode. So let's just go through it, shall we? So at the start, we kind of got a bit more. We got a bit of spiel into Illinois as to who he was. Kind of a weird choice that they just sprang up. Like, I mean, they name drop a few freelancers in this who obviously we've never heard of, but they kind of have him supposedly as one of York's old buddies, and it's this thing of like she kind of knows who he is, but the way that it's written, like they do a bit of backstory on Illinois when it doesn't really matter, and it just kind of feels like it's exposition, just kind of like spiel into him, and it's written in a way where it's like clearly it's like, oh, I didn't really know him, and she's like, oh, this is him, and he's heavy weapons, whatever. And it's just like, alright, sure. Then they go on to the thing with York, and I like that. That was good. I mean, we've the kind of season 10 was kind of Carolina reflecting. It was showing her like what she wanted. And a little bit more blatant with it in this, I think. But I don't mind that. I think returning to it and the kind of her talking with Wash with it. Did she have the lighter? I said that. I was like, where did she get the lighter? I didn't think she had it. Wasn't it left at where York died? Like, I think the last time we see it is her standing there looking at like Delta's hologram kind of thing from church, and the light is on the floor, wasn't it? Like where he died, I think. I mean, obviously she has got it, so either way, she must have got it somehow. But that's what I thought. But yeah, and then there's that bit with where her and Wash, and then he kind of holds her hand, kind of awkwardly. I don't know whether that's supposed to be romantic or whether that's supposed to be kind of just like consolement friendly, because I mean it looked romantic in terms of what they were trying to portray, kind of thing. Which, if it is, I don't want that. Bosch and Carolina, I think, is weird. Especially, it's like they're going on about York, and then he's like says that, and then he says like take your suit off, which is like obviously that's a joke because he has a reason, but I think it's written as a joke so much that there's no way he would actually say that in that situation for it to be misconstrued. You know what I mean? But either way, that was still pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know how I felt about that little like kind of romantic hinting, I guess, I suppose. That seems to be a theme as well. Any sort of like relationship stuff so far, I've been like, oh no, weird. But yeah, I don't know. I like the Carolina York bit was good though, and then they went to the thing they're talking about. Dylan's does Dylan what are they saying? Did Dylan know or something? And obviously Sergeant Tucker are completely on board with Church and that, with not Church, with Temple, and Temple blatantly says Leia and nobody cares, and then they take York, not York. There's so many freelance fucking names, Christ. Washington and Carolina take them down to their little. I assume that was in the basement. I have no idea. Take them to some room and freeze them there. And there was all the kind of freelancers that we've never met around. I think that'd be a good time to talk about the animation. Kind of. I mean, it's not really heavy, and so it's not that much of a problem. It was a weird thing, and it looks good when they're not moving. You know, it's like, so those people frozen for the most part, especially when it was just kind of them. It's like, yeah, right, that looks good. But, oh, excuse me. But then when they're moving, they have this very like staticky kind of like very motion tweened movements where it just doesn't feel like fluid. Also, I don't think there's shadows to the animation, or at least there wasn't. Definitely on Illinois when he was like frozen in that room. Maybe it was somebody was stood there and they had like no shadow, and it just looks like for a composite it just looks completely out of place. But even in terms of movement, they seem so like jarring. I think in the first episode of the season when we got the bit of animation, the first bit when he was walking down the ramp, I was like, that looks good. Or when he's taking off his helmet, I was like, that looks good. But then I think they had the UNSC soldier like pull a knife and then run, and I think you hear me in that first episode go, that was a fucking weird run, because it's like that kind of, it looks good until they're doing any sort of like real movement, and then it just like looks a bit odd. But yeah, so the biggest plot twist of all time, who could have ever seen it coming? I mean, it's not the worst kept secret ever, but it's like say everyone was suspicious of Temple. I wasn't completely invested in him, but I was like, all right, sure. Like, I don't know why the Reds and Blues trust Temple and that as much as they do. The only reason I was kind of having any sort of faith in them was because kind of Doc was like said he knew him for ages, and like it was more kind of a meta sort of situation, not as in the character, as in like fourth wall kind of stuff, where I thought, would they do a kind of like blatant triple cross, and apparently they would. But I mean, we don't know whether the other Blues and Reds are on board with it. I assume they are, but at this moment in time, it's only Temple that seems to be evil. I would assume that the others are too. If they were all going around when Temple was chucking his bloody helmet on the floor, then I assume they're in on the gig. But I think importantly to note is that he said he was scared that Carolina would recognize his voice, and that she like killed his friends and stuff. I think that's what he said to me. And so as to who it would be, I have no idea. There was a bit there where he was kind of monologuing, where I think he like rolls one of his R's, and it kind of like feels like it's like slipping into some other kind of speaking. I don't know, probably inconsequential, but I picked that up in that kind of like evil tone. But as to its actual voice, who it is, I have no idea. It's none of like the popular Rooster Teeth staff, definitely not. And so, in terms of whether the character is actually a character we've seen before and who's returned, which I'd have no idea who it would be. The people, obviously, like people like Wyoming and that sort of thing, are very distinct voices. I think back when I had my prediction for Spencer or Demo Man, that was voiced by Brandon. Georgia is voiced by like Kerry, and so these characters have pretty iconic voices or voice actors in the Rooster Teeth thing. The only people I can really think of, it could be like CT, the original CT, even though he got lasered to death. It's pretty sure he died, but also I don't think didn't sound like the same voice actor, and so I can't pinpoint who this voice actor is, and so that leads me to believe that there's either he's masking his voice or putting a voice on, or like somebody who hadn't spoken, maybe. That could be something, potentially. But yeah, I have no real hard beliefs as to who it might be. Yeah, this episode has been a good episode, I think, but a strange one. And I think it's the one that's left me on the fence in terms of quality for this season. And I think we have to see where it goes from here. I think the writing, I think the ideas of the plot are really good, which is what annoys me, because it seems like it's gearing up to be a decent and interesting season, but the writing has these like little bumps in it where it just like throws me off, kind of, and it's like you're getting invested, and then it's like, oh, is that what they'd say, or is that doesn't flow very well, kind of thing. It just feels like a bit like blatant or jarred, and that kind of does ruin it for me in some circumstances. But I think the bit at the end with Temple, I think it was still, even though, like I said, the writing, the kind of animation, whatever, it was still really cool. And it's, when he's talking about kind of the record for how long any of them have survived, that was pretty cool, because that's kind of like, this guy's twisted as fuck, you know. It's like 8 days he's let them rot, well, not even rot, they let them like suffer in their armor until they die. That's pretty gruesome. And so if that sort of like mentality of this like twisted fuck is kept up, then I think he's going to make for a pretty interesting villain. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. I've rambled on. I've not rambled on. There's probably a lot more I could ramble on about, but I don't want to keep these videos too long. I'm surprised if you've hung around for this much. If you have, I greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the reaction video. Leave a like to show your support, a comment to suggest any new videos or anything you want to react to, and subscribe so you're notified of the next one. I've been Eproth, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.